It's Monday night. It's 8 o'clock. You know what time it is. It's time to talk TV right here on Nerd Initiative. As always, somebody play the intro.
I heard you on the wireless back in 52. Lying awake, intent and tuning in on you. If I was young, it didn't stop you coming through. They took the credit for your second symphony, rewritten by machine and new technology. And now I understand the problems you can see. I met your children. What did you tell them? Radio killed the radio star. Oh, radio killed the radio star. Oh, pictures came and broke your heart.
And what is going on, ladies, gentlemen, and everybody else in the house? My name is Off the Cuff Tom, Nerd Initiative's Pop Culture Connoisseur. It is always a pleasure to be with you here this evening on Monday night. We're talking more of The Bear, and it's unbearable that I can't believe that I have to pace this out the way that I do. But again, I can't do 10 episodes, so we're talking episodes 3 and 4 this evening. So hopefully, if you've watched the whole season, I can't wait to see what you guys have to say about it. If you haven't, what are you waiting for? I mean, I'm only ahead an episode or two, but we're talking about two very specific episodes tonight. We're going to be talking about Doors and Violet. Now, those are very significant names. You know, I got to give credit to, again, like I said last week, lots of credit to the team over there for just having the balls to really call episodes by one name. It's to titles by one name, not This Time in the Kitchen or Sauce on Side or whatever it is. It takes a lot of guts to be able to have the nays to really say, hey, we know what we're going to be doing, and this is what we're going to do it, and we're going to do it so well. So obviously we're starting right there. We got Carmi right there, and I just can't wait to pick apart these episodes with you. Now you have to excuse me. I was having a little technical difficulty. I was trying to figure out real quick. So give me 2 seconds. I'll be more than happy to talk. And then, you know, while we're at it, we're just going to make sure that we do the homework while I'm doing my homework here to get you guys all set up. Make sure you're doing your homework and you go on there and make sure that you subscribe to the Nerd Initiative so you know what's going on. Then after you subscribe, make sure you hit the notifications because seriously, every single Monday, I'm the geek to start your week. You want to know when it's happening, right? So make sure you ding the thing. And some, you know, most importantly, in my opinion, make sure you tap that bell for notifications. Do you know why? Why, you may ask? Well, that's because that way, you know, if the bosses know that I'm doing a good job, I get to keep doing this. And I like to keep doing this because it's kind of a fun thing to do. You know, I like it. You like it. Let's all like it together. My phone's like going crazy. Maybe I should put my phone on Do Not Disturb. By the way, big happy birthday to my buddy Richie out there. He was the reason I was so shortly behind today. So it happens. It's the way of the world. So let's talk about these episodes. So we're going to start off with Doors. Now, Doors starts off with a big scene. Marcus's mom has passed away. We knew that happened during the service, the first night of service at the Bear under the, you know, opening night. I got to give everybody some kudos there for just saying, hey, we're going to shut down the restaurant. We're a family. We're going to do our thing. We're going to take care of each other. You can't say how wonderful that is. I keep saying that this show really triggers me in certain ways because it reminds me of when I used to cook, and it was because of my dad. One of the reasons why I got into cooking, and even the place I was at had sent people to the funeral from the restaurant I was at because my dad passed away at that point in my life. So to see that still, the idea of family and teamwork in a restaurant even nowadays is a lot. Not only is that the idea of doors because one door is closed and another one's open for Marcus, it's literally doors. They go through the whole first month of running the restaurant with Carmi's ridiculous list of non-negotiables. And Richie decides to come up with his idea of what non-negotiables are. Like, okay, I'm down with this. I like this. Because these guys have been butting heads since day one, excuse me. I'm just doing a little work right here, so I have something to stare at my camera, so I know I'm actually talking to somebody. And hopefully, if you are talking to somebody, make sure you leave it here in the chat and the super chat, because you definitely want to have this back and forth with me. Because I mean, how are you feeling about the bear so far? Up to this point, we're not talking about episodes 5, 6, 7, 12, whatever. We're talking about the bear right now. What was so crazy about this episode about doors is that Carmi wanted to really bring through the idea of new menu every day and the constant hassle. And as someone who's worked in restaurants and has had to deal with the crazy amount of stuff that has gone on with opening a restaurant and the rushes of people that come in and the stress levels that are so high. Poor Tina's sitting there on the line, just her hands are shaking. She had such great confidence before from Sid, and much as she gave herself the yips, she still, ugh. Carmi decided, oh, new menu every day. This is going to be great. New menu, new menu, menu. No, don't repeat anything at all. Well, your food cost is going to go through the roof to begin with. Your labor is just going to be nuts. The amount of dishes to do, because new items every day means new dishes every day. Do you use the same tried and true dishes, or do you have to go buy new plateware once a month? It is a logistical nightmare to run this restaurant right now the way Carmen wants to do it. I can't believe the fact that they really went through a whole month and the stress level is just getting higher and higher. And at the same time, everything is eating away at Carmi. Just got to be better. Got to get that start. Got to do this. I've worked for so many people. Everybody's expectations are so high of me. Like, I don't know where this dude's going to get the mental breakdown. And on top of it, he quit smoking. I don't know if anybody used smoked or knows smokers or smokers that have quit and how irritable as hell they can be. So kudos to Carmi for trying to quit smoking. On the back end, everybody's just dealing with the loss and kind of dealing with Marcus as far as his feelings and trying to get him help through everything. We see the stress here. Richie's coming in going, hey, we got to do this. We got to do that. Hey, I got to turn this table. We got an allergy here. We got to this, that, and the other thing. And because of the issues that happened on opening night, Carmi and Richie are not talking at all. And Sid, unfortunately, is being the go-between. And that's not her job. Her job is the chef de cuisine. She should be the sous chef, the partner. That's a whole other thing we haven't even talked about yet. She's got to do her thing. And the problem is she can't do her thing while she's trying to play seesaw between these two type A personalities. And A stands for something else. Catch my drift. Sorry, it's a little warm in here. So the stress level, the heat itself, everything is just building and building and building. Don't repeat yourself. Like I said, I honestly saw this episode and was like, okay, don't repeat yourself, but you're still using the same techniques. So is that innovative or not? Poor Tina. It's just crazy. And then finally one night, they realize they got to add another turn, a turn being how many of the seats fill again to be able to be profitable. So they open it up for another half turn. So they do 2 whole rounds and then a half a turn. So that means, let's say the restaurant seats 30 people or seats 30 tables, not counting how many seats. That means you got to do at least 60 tables. Oh, wait, and then add another one. So it's 90 tables a night they're doing, which in all actuality is feasible. I've worked at restaurants where we've done multiple heads a night up to, I remember one restaurant I worked at, we did 360 heads in one night. And that was just nuts. And we would do that several times a week. Usually on a Thursday, Friday, and a Saturday night, 360 people through our little hole in the wall. Crazy stuff. We follow that up, and so we got to keep turning and burning. Well, there's a table that's sitting there one night. They are just completely, they pitched a tent. They're sitting there. They're hanging out. This would be a prime example of when I used to say run a hose stand. I would write a triangle over it because they just pitched a tent. They're not going anywhere. So Richie decides, hey, do you guys want to go check out the restaurant or check out the kitchen? Because figure that's the easiest way to get them up, get the bussers and people to just redo the kitchen. They walk in and it's all hell in the kitchen. Carmi throws Richie a dirty look. Richie throws Carmi a dirty look. The table gets cleaned, but then it hits the fan. Well, not that it hits the fan. After that all goes down, Richie and Carmi literally start hitting each other, and the whole board, which is where all the tickets are, hits the floor. And Sid just looks down and sees utter chaos and realizes, shit, what have I gotten into? That's heavy, man. So again, let's think about this. Doors. Doors was the idea and the concept of this restaurant or of this episode. Doors as far as transitions. Everybody's trying to transition into a new role. Richie is transitioning from what he was to this new front of house guy. Sid is really taking her time transitioning, going through the door from just sous chef to. And this is why we do it live because sometimes, technical things happen. Let's check our settings real quick as I keep talking about doors. Sid was trying to go through from being just a sous chef to being a partner. That takes a lot. And especially at such a young age to be able to jump into a business like that, that's quite a lot for her to take on responsibility. But what about, you know, Ibra, who's even trying to talk about what's going on with him? He's trying to deal with everything going on with trying to run the business. He is not to do the fine dining aspect, and that's fine. But the beef, as it was before it was the bear, still needs to make money. So, Ibra, take care of the window. Ibra is now a one man show trying to run nearly 60% of the business that the beef used to do out of a takeout window. One guy, not happening. That'll get resolved later, I bet. So, again, there's everybody's going through a door. Everybody's going through a transition right now. And it's a really great way to so going back, everybody's trying to make their transition, but again, Richie and Carmi are just at each other's throats, and they just cannot find a happy medium between them. So what are we going to do? We're going to fight it out, and then next episode. The next episode being Violet, and wow, what an episode! I mean, quite frankly, it was so damn good. You're dealing with a whole ton of things. One, we get. Let me go through my slides here. Oh yeah, here's another one. So while Richie's trying to do front of house with the last episode, trying to bring the surprise aspect in that he learned while doing his little apprenticeship, uh, Carmine's like, "What the are you doing?" It's a pinata in a fine dining, new concept restaurant. Like, my goodness, and I don't blame him. I mean, I work in hospitality. You've got things set to do this, do that, do this, do that, and then it just throws it to the wind. So we get to the next episode, and it opens up, and Sid is at home with her dad, played by the amazing Robert Townsend, Meteor Man himself. I mean, he's done a lot of other stuff, but come on, I'm old. It's going to be Meteor Man, and he just wants his daughter home. She's ready to go back out into the world. While that's happening, Sid starts heading off to work, and she runs into a fellow chef, from Ever, from the Ever restaurant, and he says, "Oh yeah, I was there. It was great. It was good. Um, by the way, love what you're doing. Doesn't feel much like Carmi." So I was like, "Okay, well, what's a Carmi menu supposed to feel like?" Um, on top of it, it's just crazy just thinking about everything, trying to figure out, well, are the critics coming? Is this coming? What's happening? These are all things that happen in the first time a restaurant opens. Now the facts, facts. I don't know how you spell it, but those two nitwits, they decide, hey, Carmi, we're going to help. We're going to put up pictures of all the critics here in town. So Carmi walks in the office and literally sees a firing squad right in front of his face. Now he's already so wired and so high strung for everything going on right now. Do you think that helps? Fact, no, because that's a guy's last name. I'm not using it a bad word. FAK. That's a guy's name. Just checking. Richie, on the other hand, is dealing with stuff right now because his ex-wife is getting remarried, and my God, seeing Richie, Elon Musk backrack to how he plays a single father with his daughter. It is so sweet and so genuine that he goes and he drops off his daughter. And the best part is, we'll talk about that one in just a minute. We get a special cameo. It is Josh Hartnell. Where the hell's Josh Hartnell been? Josh Hartnell is going to be playing the love interest for, Richie's ex-wife and soon to be stepfather to his daughter. And like, oh wait, Josh Hartnell, where do I remember him? Some movie in the '80s with a really bad bowl cut. Like, that's fantastic. Like, again, they're still pulling in so many cameos, and we're on season 3. Don't get me wrong, season 2 had probably some of the best cameos that whole Christmas episode. We know we're going to see them again because we had flashbacks during the first episode. But Josh Hartnell's like, hey man, I think I did wrong by you, and I'm just trying to be open and everything, which I think is sweet and honest. But it's kind of funny how much Richie's just shooting him down simply for the fact that he's not. He always talks about all this, metaphysical and the ideas of being a human. But when somebody tries to give him some advice or be open with it, he shoots it down like nobody's business, and that was hilarious. All right, so let's go back to some of these other things going on. So again, Sid wants to move out, right? And then Sugar, I love the fact that we're getting a little bit more sugar in here. Everybody needs more sugar. She's dealing with the issues right now of being pregnant, and not only being pregnant, but she's also dealing with the idea of motherhood, especially in regards to, hey, I don't want to be a screw up like my mom. Okay, I'm not saying Jamie Lee Curtis is a screw up. God love her; she is amazing in the show and anything else she does. But the character she plays, total screw up, as far as I'm concerned. And she's worried that, whatever her mom's issues have been passed down to her, and then that's going to get passed down to her kid. And I'm like, that's great. That's what every single mom has to worries about. So to take that and to put it in real light and put it in front of everybody, again, that's why the show is so good. It talks about the reality of being a human being, and it also talks about somewhat of the reality of restaurants. I mean, I'm still wishing I got a little more restaurant, a little less reality, but I like them equally. Again, I still come from a cook's background, obviously, culture. So it's big, but the big thing that really opens up in this episode is the fact that the episode's called Violet. Why is it called Violet? Well, we find out as I just blanked. I totally just blanked. As the pastry chef is finally going to work, he sees some violets, and the best part is that his mom, who had just passed away, had loved violets. Marcus, that's his name, Marcus. and he saw one random one still living on this tiny little vine on a piece of cast iron fence. And it's really beautiful the fact that is in urban decay you can find something so lovely. So he decides that he wants to do a dish for his mom. And it wasn't just a purple violet, it was a white violet, a variant, a genetic anomaly. So even better. Starts talking to Sugar about it. Well, Sugar happens to know that Violet is a state flower of Illinois, and it goes all around, around. And how wonderful is that that he wants to make a dish in honor of his mom? You can't go wrong with that. On the same time, we see still over on the beef window, everything is just going to crap. It is just, again, Ibra just needs help. There's no organization over there. So they decide, okay, I think eventually they're going to get somebody because the beef right now is the only thing that's making money for the business. Now, I don't know how they had broken down the companies. I know I personally would have kept the beef as a whole separate entity, LLC, and books and everything versus the Bear restaurant because that's the way you do. Because once you start mixing the two books together, it is horrible. But yeah, so we talk about that, and then eventually Sid decides, by the way, Dad, what do you think of this apartment I'm looking at? You like it? Again, Meteor Man, Robert Townsend. And he goes, well, it needs this, it needs that. He's being a doubting dad, like, any dad should be. It's going to be a longer commute. It's a lot of money. And she just says, well, I already got the lease. Huh? And that's it. You have no choice. So that's, so well, let's go get a couch. Yeah, really one of them L-shaped thingies. Yep, we're going to secondhand. Buying secondhand because she's cheap, she's young, and she's broke. She still hasn't signed the agreement yet, and that's again still saying a lot. She's very hesitant on jumping through to the next step. Again, going through that, like we mentioned in the last episode, that door. It's really showing up here that the bear is really trying to round out everybody's character. I know Tina has been featured less and less, and I don't know if that's because the actress just got wanted less screen time or how they're doing that, but I think she'll be addressed at some point. Eber's doing great. Front of house, they're doing okay. Again, uh, good news and bad news because stuff comes up when Richie is talking to Sugar about, oh, by the way, this is what it's like being a parent. Ring, ring. Guess what? It's the Chicago Tribune saying, yeah, we've been ready for a photo shoot now. So the facts, whole idea of putting up this firing line of food critics has kind of been fact, simply for the fact that the critics already been there. So now they don't know when, they don't know who, they don't know what was written. And now there's going to be a review soon, and they got to deal with the fallout from that. Now, I will say this again 33 minutes for this one, and I think the last one was just a little, what was it? 30 minutes. So 63 minutes, two whole episodes that went by so quick, unbelievably quick, because that is how well the story and show is written. It is literally done with almost an ADD perspective because that's how fast you need to be in the restaurant business. That is where you need to be when you're paying attention, when you're trying to do 49 things all at once. It's just nuts. The fact that, always high stress. I mean, look at Carmi right now. Look at his face. He's like, all right, where's my order? What is going on with this? He's really just dived into such a self-destructive spiral that there's still 6 more episodes I gotta watch, and I think it's gonna be worse and worse and worse, and it's just gonna blow up. The drama in between the characters is great, but at the same time, the open and rawness of the characters really elevate the series. It's not so much as a procedural show, as in, okay, that you would watch your Law and Order or your medical show, because I think that it really does. There's no start, beginning, and end, because 10 episodes is the whole thing, and that's really where we're at. And we're only on episode 3 and 4 for this, for us to talk right here. I can't wait to see where this goes. I may have gotten ahead one episode, just so you know. There's my contractual obligation right there to Matt and Ken, the other guys over on Thursday night show. Yeah, the show is done so well, and I cannot wait to see what comes next. Um, do I think that there's going to be a Bear season 4? I don't know. Again, I have not watched all 10 episodes. I don't intend on watching all 10 episodes. I watched them a few days before I do this because I don't really want to get too far ahead. But I was just in my zone, and then realized what was up, and like, okay, cool. What do you think of the Bear? I mean, do you really like seeing this whole personal aspect in the season, or do you want to see more raw cooking and talent and stuff that comes out of that? I know where I'm at. I would kind of still like to see a little bit more food side of this, but again, it's all the interactions and issues of running a restaurant is now is what's been brought to light with this season. So I think it's serving its purpose that way, and it's also showing people. It's not. I hope it's not dissuading people from opening their own restaurants and doing their own businesses. Um, I also think it's real. It's palpable. It's material. As much as one of those celebrity chefs said, more cooking. ODP Ken, my wonderful co-host and the editor in chief over here at Nerd Niche just wants more cooking. Um, God knows he might need a lesson or two, which I'm more than happy to show you to make a beautiful Bernese sauce. I would like to see them finally get the menu in order and give us a service or give us a special party or something. The food looks fantastic, and that goes to the whole food team. And I really want that to shine just as much as the characters are coming out there. Just any good show and any good dish always comes to the ingredients that you put in. And right now, we're getting a lot more seasoning, and we don't have a lot of the meat and potatoes, if you catch my drift, for me. But we'll see what happens, or not. There you go. Again, look, I did it twice, guys. There's my contractual obligation that I said I was going to put out there. But next week, we're going to be talking two more episodes. We're going to just talk episode 5 and 6. I don't even know what their names are yet because, again, I just don't pay attention because I want to be surprised. So I'm fresh and ready to talk to you guys. But having that said, aside from more cooking, is there a dish or anything that you've seen so far there that you might want me to try and figure out or break down? Because I mean, I got the bona fides. I might be able to figure out. Maybe I can put up an idea of it, or maybe another site's done it, and I'll make it easier, accessible for you. I think it's a great idea. But you know what else is a great idea? Again, going back and doing that homework, making sure that you are liking, subscribing, ringing the bell, doing all the things. Because that's what's most important here on Nerd Initiative is that we're talking to you and you're talking with us. And when all is said and done, you can't go wrong with it. Well, what's going on? We're experiencing technical difficulties. Please push the button. All right. Yay, that's why we do this live. There we go. And we're back. So yeah, there's all kinds of stuff going on here on Nerd Initiative. We've got all these great new shows coming on. We've got my show here on Mondays, Tuesdays, turn a page. And let's get those QR codes up because you know what? It's our initiative. And what's the one thing we love more than talking to you? It's our QR codes. So tomorrow night, turn a page. Sadly, Ken is going to be on extra special assignment, doing something. I think that there's some adamantium or vibranium involved and some light arrays. I don't know what's going on with him, but we are having a contest. And as a matter of fact, we can check those results right now live here on the internet. Let's see who won. Nerd Initiative, Twitter. because it is Shark Week, and we decided, hey, why don't we do a Shark Week poll? You guys all get to pick exactly what's going on here. So let's see. Who, where is, and the winner of the poll, Jeff the Land Shark. Yay! A landslide, 55.6% versus King Shark, 33.3, and then something else as 11.1. Because I mean, who doesn't like Shark Week? So that means we're going to be doing a story about Jeff the Land Shark tomorrow night. So we're going to get in the turn of page bullpen right now. As soon as I'm done on this, we're going to figure out what story, and then tomorrow night we're going to bring it to you and talk about probably the most cutest shark in the whole wide world for Shark Week, Jeff the Land Shark. Again, tomorrow night on Turn of Page, we're going to have that. Later this week, it's going to be Wrestling Night Live, straight in from the top rope. You can't go wrong with that. Again, if you are not subscribed here, Nerd Initiative TV Talk, that's me, off the cuff time. Once we're done doing the bear, I'm not sure exactly what we're doing just yet. After that, I might take a break from doing serialized shows. We might do a throwback episode. I'm not sure. We'll figure out what we're doing. But again, in the meantime, you let us know what you want. Make sure that you're subscribed. Make sure that you're right there on that QR code. Make sure that you know new comic book day. So we have new comics every week on Wednesday. And don't forget, DC's not releasing anymore on DC Tuesday. They're releasing everything on Wednesday. So that means we're going to have even more reviews for you to check out on Wednesdays. It starts at 9 a.m. and it keeps going all day. And again, it's con season. All right. Speaking of con season, I just had a wonderful interview with Brandon Benfield from Ranger Sponsors International. It's here on our YouTube channel. You can check that out. You might be able to support Ranger Sponsors International if you're going to say Ranger Stop and Pop, or Ranger Stop, or Power Morphicon, or Ranger Station. You can help bring a lot of these actors, these international actors, here to the States so you can meet them and get your autographs. Again, check out that interview with Brandon. I had a wonderful time. He's a wonderful, beautiful guy. I cannot say that enough. Check out that interview. It's right here on Nerd Initiative's YouTube. Again, that's exclusive content that you get only on Nerd Initiative YouTube. And in the meantime, because it's content, because I just mentioned a bunch of them, make sure to wear your nerd on your sleeve. Get the merch. Do the thing. Buy the stuff. That means you guys are enjoying what we're doing, and you want to show it off to everybody else, and then bring one over here with you. Anything else that's going on as far as Nerd Initiative, like I said, make sure you hit that QR code. If you want to keep up with what's going on with me, which is pretty much everything here on Nerd Initiative that I do, you can check out that QR code right there for Off the Cuff Tom, the true pop culture connoisseur. It is my absolute pleasure to be able to talk with you folks again this evening. We want to know what's going on. We want to talk to you. Make sure you're staying on to Nerd Initiative. As always, as I used to say when I was a streamer, be excellent to each other. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.